Mother speaks.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother.
Hi everybody, welcome to your Libra full moon readings. These are Great Mother Speaks readings. Great Mother Speaks welcomes you to this platform, a language of signs and symbols to assist those of us who are seeking to connect with the mother of all mothers as a result of mama drama trauma. It is my area of specialization. My name is Tammy Taylor. I'm an inner work life coach. This is inner work, emotional, intuitive language that we use for these readings. And Great Mothers Speak is a language that is based on that emotional sign and symbology. Particularly here, we're talking about your Vedic moon sign. We work through the moon yogas here. We work with lunar-based astrology because Great Mother is lunar energy. She is the moon, the yin energy, the feminine archetypes within us. The sun is Great Father energy, and your Vedic sun sign will represent the soul. Great Mother communicates. She is the transmitter of information, of that frequency signal between the soul and the ego. That is the ascendant sign. So you want to be sure that you check the link below and get your Vedic moon sign. If you're working from your Western moon sign, you can, but the readings won't make as much sense since Western astrology is an earth-centric, egocentric astrology. It is based on a very definite perception of this lifetime, whereas the Vedic astrology is going to transcend many lifetimes and many more ways on deeper and deeper levels than the Western astrology. And that's what we have to do to really understand and heal mama drama trauma, which is a soul contract between two souls who love each other enough to support one another in the mutual evolution of self-love and spiritual independence. Mama drama trauma is a planetary disorder. It is at this time before we enter the Aquarian age that we are learning how to love ourselves. That is in fact how we deliver ourselves from the cycle, from the disorder, the pathology of mama drama trauma, which is perpetuated through shame, blame, and guilt. We saw that the Notre Dame, our mother, our Mother Mary, Our Lady, the physical edifice will no longer suffice going into our future selves as a proxy for us being connected with and understanding our inner selves, which is the true essence of who we are, which is the true method of connecting with our highest selves, which made this contract with our mothers. And so it is imperative that when we are healing mama trauma, we understand that we are undaunted as souls who have made this decision to evolve and learn these lessons through the mechanism of mama drama trauma. It doesn't make it less painful. It doesn't make it less difficult to do the work. But what it does do, it enables that process of growth, because self-love is not something that we voluntarily learn as souls. We have to be coerced into it because it is an illusion. We are loved. So we have to, in order to evolve in self-love, be refined through the illusion of not experiencing love. And so the soul that loves us deeply enough to what we experience to be a violation of our humanity exchanges this illusion, creates this illusion with us to refine that inner sense of knowing we are loved, of knowing we are a part of the Great Mother Father God. Now, of course, the concept of Great Mother Father God in Vedic astrology is through Varuna. And Varuna separated the higher self, the soul self, from the lower self, and actually thrusting the universes into existence. And his architect of the cosmos, Shrati Karma, I believe that's how you pronounce it, had a daughter, Chitra, who is the nakshatra, or the lunar constellation of this full moon, Chitra. Chitra married Surya, the sun, the soul of the cosmos, and discovered that his light outshone hers. And so she represents the gem, the pearl, the beauty of the cosmos. And her father, Shami Karma, made sure that Krishna Karma, let me get that right. Anyway, he diluted Surna's brightness in order for her to shine. And that is what this full moon energy is about. The sign and symbology of this full moon has to do with the Libra energy from 23.2 degrees to the Virgo energy from 23.4 degrees to the Libra energy at 6.4 degrees. So it's early degrees of Libra, which is why this full moon is in Libra in both the Western and the Vedic astrology this time, giving us the double message that this is the second full moon in Libra in the Western astrology, the ego astrology, that it is time to begin our planetary and our individual soul work to balance this disorder on the planet. Now, the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck is what we'll be using as we always do, but I'm going to share with you as just your significator card, not the whole deck, that has been revised. As you know, that this deck is based on the 49 scenes of the Wizard of Oz. And Dorothy is the poster child for Mama Drama Trauma. She was an orphan. She was neglected emotionally and ran away from home in order to learn how to love herself. And along that journey, she saw the mirrors of herself through the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Lion, and went to Great Father Oz by the direction of Great Mother Glinda the Good Witch in order to find her way home. And that is what we are doing. Each new moon and full moon, we're finding our way home, finding our way back to the truth of our divinity, emerging from the illusion of Mama Drama Trauma, regardless of how real the sensory experience makes it feel. Now, this full moon ushers in a transit season that cannot be defined as anything but a karmic transit. Jupiter has already gone retrograde in the South Node and K2. Saturn is about to go retrograde at the end of this month, but after, of course, Pluto on the 26th, the 29th Saturn. We don't really pay a lot of attention to the outer planets in Vedic astrology in general as a rule. But it is important to look at what's going on with the outer planets when we're looking at the collective consciousness, or what I call the collective unconscious. So the collective unconscious is beginning to go through a very deep karmic cycle. And those of us who are consciously doing our healing work, we're also going through this karmic cycle that begins this month until about September, October. This cycle is going to really test whether or not we are serious about balancing our sense of self. And what is that balancing? That balancing is releasing that conditioning of shame, blame, and guilt in our daily interactions, first and foremost with ourself, our self-talk, and then therefore how we interact with others. Are we feeling repetitively that shame, blame, and that guilt? I just see that church burning, and Catholics will be the first to tell you that the religion is based on guilt. And so we're beginning to see the fall of this illusion that we're not good enough, that we are not divine. And so that's the balance. It is bringing up the self-awareness of our divinity, which is what I'm constantly repeating, what Great Mother has given me to share, is that we are dearly loved children of the Great Mother, Father God, who are never judged, condemned, or left alone. We always have our angels, our guides, and our ancestors, just as Chitra had her father, even though she had been married to the glorious sun. Everything that glitters is not gold. And Chitra represents that as well. It is a beautiful light that shines specifically, and even when the sky is the cloudiest, you can still see Chitra. It's ruled by Mars, and so there is this great gut chakra energy and this fire. And I'm wearing this today as a representative of it because I am Chitra, my Jupiter is in Chitra, I should say, and it's retrograde. So I understand these deeper transits and these deeper cycles because of this work that I do. And I'm happy for the 2 and the 3 of you that I talk to each new and full moon, because I've come to understand that that's another characteristic of Chitra, is it's not popular. It's not a popular sign. It's not a popular nakshatra. Each sign in Vedic astrology has about 2.5 nakshatras, which are lunar based constellations. And it speaks clearly from the beauty of the cosmos, whether it's popular or not. And that's more important to it than being popular, because it's already bright. It has enough support. It doesn't need the physical, the numbers, the subscribers for it. Doesn't need that. It already has enough support, unless it is in a situation that it is being told you are not enough, you are not good enough. And although that was not my mother's intention, that is exactly what she did with this child that was very forthright in her expression and wise beyond her years. And it was embarrassing at some points, for her because I didn't care whether or not I was popular. And it's not a angry attitude thing. This energy of this full moon that I'm sharing with you is an energy that is, get it or quit it. It's like, just be who you are, assert how you feel, live how you need to live, or suffer the consequences. And this Libra kind of Virgo Libra juxtaposition of this nakshatra says that it's already gone through the highest form of refinement and the latter degrees of Virgo, as we know. So we say 23.4 Virgo to 6.4 of Libra. The latter degrees of any sign is when it's come to its full maturation. And what is the full maturation of Virgo energy? It is the self-healer. It is the one who is able to keep account of details in order to be of the greatest service, of the greatest good of others and to itself first and foremost. It is about not overlooking the details that improve and constantly improve the healing ability and the serviceability. And being ruled by Mars, it is determined to do that and combative in doing that if necessary. But with the earlier degrees of Libra, suggests that there is enough of an intention to connect with others to make it feasible, to make it useful. And that's what you want to glean from this full moon reading, is how is this information going to be useful for me during this transit, during this Jupiter retrograde, which basically, if you are a life coach or you are an astrologer watching this, you are a teacher of some form, you are a mother and you're doing your healing work, and you find that your challenges as of late have been more in terms of how you are setting an example, then the Jupiter retrograde is about, over the next few months until August, listening to what Great Mother is saying to you through signs and symbols. And this is what your readings are about, the signs and symbols of the lunar phases of your chakras for your moon sign, your yogas. What's coming through from that internal space to align you to balance that MDT, shame, blame, and guilt, with the divinity, being and feeling and experiencing that love from divinity. Feeling that non-judgmental sense of innocence and being loved. Feeling like your angels and your guides are surrounding you, and more releasing that. What is Jupiter telling you needs to be shared with others through your experience of learning, through your experience of balancing and shining your light of MDT healing. For those of you who have come here for the first time or are just beginning to be aware, even acknowledge, admit, accept your MDT, you're probably at a point where you're realizing that the denial, the minimizing the MDT, the ignoring, the abandonment and abuse, the repetitive abandonment and abuse is beginning to present to you opportunities to define more healthy boundaries and those type of toxic environments that perpetuate that shame, blame, and guilt for you. And you are wanting this transit with Jupiter retrograde to download to you what it is that you need to do to balance. How do you need to define boundaries? Show me. Show me. If I'm constantly experiencing someone walking in on me and disrespecting my space, and I do need solitude from time to time to connect with Great Mother, show me how to do that, and I will follow. Obedience is very important, especially with Jupiter, in order for us to receive more. Jupiter is very abundant, and we will receive many times whether we realize it or not. But what's the use of having $100,000 in the bank if you don't know that you have it? So that's why the inner communication piece, the inner work piece is so important, is that you know that you get $100,000 in the account. And you have something useful, again, at your access, something beautiful to enhance your beauty. With the Saturn retrograde that we're going to be greeted with at the end of this month, and that will be active for your new moon reading in Aries in the Vedic, you want to ask yourself as a teacher or as the sharer of MDT healing information, Saturn, I know that you are the cosmic Lord. I know that you are the karmic Lord, rather, and you are keeping a clock on my incarnation at the time that I have here to do what I'm here to do, which first and foremost is to heal my MDT. But I need to know from you karmically what it is I truly need to stop doing, let go of, restrict in my life, or completely let go in order for me to better balance my ability to teach, to share, and to shine my light. I need it to be made very, very clear to me. Show me the consequences of not doing my inner work. Show me the consequences. We're not ever judged or condemned, but there will always be consequences for actions. And karma, literally in Sanskrit, means actions. Okay, and so all of our actions accumulate over lifetimes. And this experience of MDT is all about getting in touch with that karma, owning it as a strong soul, and hearing from the Holy Spirit, Great Mother, the downloads that we need in order to balance and in order to heal it. Now, those of us who are really, again, in that space of releasing denial of MDT, and we're coming to realize we do need to work on healing this MDT through the guidance of Great Mother, connecting with the Mother of all mothers. You really want to have Saturn help you be aware of the consequences that you are already suffering, and have those be made very clear to you so that you can say, yes, this is about shame, blame, and guilt. I am ashamed to even discipline my child because I know the way I was disciplined and it made me feel horrible. And so I don't know what to do. And therefore I'm blamed as a mother as not being a good mother. And now I feel really guilty because I know I'm not. I see this cycle before me happening. It takes many people a long time to get to that place. But this is what I want you to do. I want you, when you go to that Vedic calculator, it's going to show your whole chart, and I would love to go over that with you. We can do a class on the website. I have the MDT support group, and we do all kind of topics there, and we could do one day just bring your chart and we'll just go over certain things. You know, just go there and sign up and put in the notes what you would like to talk about, or even hear what you'd like to talk about in those free groups. And they're very small, just like the group of people that watch the videos, 2, 3 people, 4 people, and we just kind of go over these things so you can understand that as you recognize these patterns, they have less power over you. This is what this is all about. This is what this Libra full moon in Chitra Nakshatra is all about. It's all about shining the light and not being afraid to say, hey, this MDT light is shining way too bright, this soul contract right now. And so let me just recognize that I need to address this, you know, and get some help in balancing these scales out. Because I know you got a light and this is soul contract and I agreed to do this, but I know that I'm also here to evolve through the experience. So let me get on that part. Let me get some shine for that, for the work that I'm doing. And you'll find that once that foundation is in place with your Vedic astrology, what's going on with the outer planets, like this Neptune square the South Node and this Pluto that's going retrograde on the 26th, you will see how on a collective unconscious level, the changes that are going on within you, you will be able to see the effects in the outer world with more clarity and not have to experience so much yourself personally, because you're disciplined in the process of being observant of your healing. You don't have to, for example, always feel guilty for being a bad mom. You can begin to work on owning the role that you've played in perpetuating MDT out of ignorance and stopping the cycle little by little by little, you know, saying, well, hey, I know in the past I haven't said anything when you've spoken this way, but this reminds me of when I was young, how I was spoken to, and it didn't make me feel very nice, and I apologize for having spoken to you that way. I would like us both to work on speaking to each other in a more kind way. And I'm going to make mistakes and you're going to make mistakes, but let's help and remind each other as lovingly as we can, okay? The next time I do something, the next time, you know, that's what we talk about in our group, and that's what we work on, and that's what we report our successes on, and that's where we share our challenges in. So I want you all to feel comfortable in coming to me. I don't know whether or not this website scares you when you look at it or what, but you know, I see the traction and the visitation, people visit, but you're scared to sign up for the free night thing. I don't know that the time doesn't work for you or whatever. Let me know, because that's what I'm here for. That's what I do. Okay, so we have that. Let us go ahead and get started with your readings. Now remember, your significator card in the middle of your reading is going to be from the new Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck, which doesn't have any of the pictures from the Wizard of Oz, but of course is based on that. There'll be a new deck coming out, and the guidebook is going to be great and very colorful. I'm very excited because I have gotten feedback about the deck, and people have it, and it's been a collaborative process, and I know that this is a very, very blessed healing tool for us. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi, Taurus moon sign people. This is happening in this Libra full moon. Remember, it's Vedic because, you know, it's Libra and Western as well. This is sixth house energy for you. So this has to do with really looking at ways that crystallized ideas that you have, crystallized beliefs, your belief system, how you have been living your daily life, taking care of yourself, self-healing, healing others, taking care of others, interacting with others as it relates to your daily life in ways that might be disruptive, you know, disputes, debt. This Libra full moon is always about that. It comes around once a year for you. All the full moons and new moons have a cyclical meaning for us. However, with the kickoff of this major transit that hasn't happened since 1520, and it's about releasing old institutions, governmental, spiritual institutions, to allow new ones that are more relevant to our needs today. And on a soul level, with K2 now in Sagittarius, on a personal level, releasing old ways, old patterns that the soul has had lifetime after lifetime, and how it has lived in the physical body on a daily basis, how it has interacted with people, how it has healed itself and worked itself. Those things being released that no longer serve the soul, and it being able to communicate and understand itself and the world. Your significator card is Coventina, purification. So the inner work that your soul wants to do, as you see in this newly designed card, it's heart chakra energy. It wants to do the work around your soul. It's ruled by Venus. The heart chakra is ruled by Venus, and Venus rules Taurus. And so in your significator, your center position, you have Coventina, which is all about getting yourself together. You know, this is the waxing gibbous moon. It's purification, it's refinement, it's editing, it's in relationship to mama drama trauma. It's changing up the script. It don't start nothing, won't be nothing is what I'm getting for you. I'm getting this energy of you already are essentially where you need to be emotionally. Emotionally, Taurus grounds its intuition. You receive your intuition through your previous sign of Aries. It's very quick, it's very clear, it's very to the point, in a very Aries manner. You emotionally experience your downloads in a Taurian manner. And so this purification that's coming up for you, that your soul is wanting to do around its interior space as it's healing MDT, is about just the facts, ma'am. Let me just live by the facts. And as long as I focus on what's good for me, what works for me on a daily basis, what makes me feel good health-wise, what I need to operate in this physical body in a healthy, happy, whole manner, I'm good. I don't need to jump outside of that space to create anything else to ground myself, to project my needs of grounding myself in the world. In other words, to feeling safe, to feeling secure. I do that for me within. This is coming up because you need to embrace that shadow of a tendency to do that, Taurus moon sign people, as it relates to mama drama trauma. There is a tendency to need the confirmation and validation from others that you do have MDT and that they need to understand it in order for you to be fully healed. This is not true. This is Inanna. It's a third eye crescent moon card. Embrace the shadow is about embracing that part of yourself that you really don't want to acknowledge. You know that it's there. We all have that to a degree. But with Taurus moon sign, because you ground or you process your emotions in a Gemini way, that's called the lunar yogas in Vedic astrology, the Kunkunk signs to the moon are prior to your moon sign Aries. How you download, how you experience emotion, download intuition is Aries, how you experience the emotion is Taurus, and how you process that is Gemini. You process once you feel the emotion in a very Geminian way. You want to understand it, you want to talk about it, perhaps even teach it, you want to communicate about it. And that's why there's a tendency to want others, maybe unconsciously, it's a shadow. other people to validate that for you, to confirm that you've learned what you've learned. But it's just the facts, please. I'm getting here. And don't start nothing, won't be nothing. You don't need to start nothing. You're already purified. You already have the essential facts. What is in your shadow position is inner wisdom. You don't realize that. You already know what it takes for you to be happy, healthy, and whole. You already know the game of blame, shame, and guilt. You see it coming a mile away, and it's not something that you want to feel anymore. So you don't have to start anything with anybody to prevent yourself from feeling it. As long as you stay focused on what it is for you to feel good, it's a lot less of energy being spent focused on what doesn't, and who doesn't make you feel good, and what environments and all that kind of stuff, which Taurus can focus on. We have 2 heart chakra cards. We have the waxing gibbous and we have the new moon. Now the new moon coming up in Aries in the Vedic, of course, is a month before the Taurus new moon in the Vedic, again ruled by the heart chakra. So this tells me that in your shadow position of inner wisdom, some of you may not be in a place of actually trusting that this purification process is all that you need in order to deal with the shadow of needing validation from other people. It might take you a good 2 months to come to that realization. But for others, this is an indication that since last year, the Taurus new moon, and this coming to the end of your lunar cycle, many of you are at a place where you need to own that. You need to own your truth. In other words, you've experienced it enough. This is 6th house energy for you. So your daily life, your routine, your lifestyle has been changing and transforming in ways to adjust to this internal truth that you have. So this is not just an intellectual exercise. You've really been working on your interior space. You really have a lot of energy in your 8th lunar house right now, because K2 Sagittarius, those internal beliefs, those soul beliefs, those soul thought patterns are being changed and transformed right now in a major way, conjunct Jupiter and Saturn. Now, it's very important to realize that as this transformation is underway for you, there may not be the kind of support that you've been used to in the past. You have in your 12th house, you have Uranus in your 12th house. That's an outer planet, but it's important to mention because the changes that are happening in the collective unconscious, the fast, sudden changes that are happening in the world. See, you've been working on your internal life, and your daily life has been shifting. And so part of this purification process is that for those of you who have really been doing this interior work, all of the changes, like, you know, the Notre Dame burning, all of the crazy stuff going on politically, issues with the environment, with school, the weather is a part of environment, and all of these things that just kind of always kind of pick at safety and security. As you're doing this interior work, you're getting stronger and stronger, but you're noticing these things happening in the outer world suddenly. Okay, and that's what outer planets are all about, is the outer world and the generation that we're born in and the trends that we have within a generation, and attitudinal tribes based on 14-year periods in which individuals are born under Pluto and Neptune and etc. With this Uranus, over the next 7 years for you, particularly now, this is starting up. Uranus is in Aries in the Vedic. And so that's your 12th house. And so over the next 7 years, you're going to be downloading a lot of this stuff that's happening in the world as heads up information for you. And it's important that this is mentioned because as your soul releases old thought patterns, you're going to move away from relying so much on your personal kind of beliefs that have kind of held you in this MDT prison of blame, shame, and guilt, and this cycle of mama drama trauma, and this pattern that you've had with your mother and with your children. My MDT goes on for lifetimes until it's healed. You know, we have to decide within a lifetime to heal it. And the few of you who are watching, you have decided to do that. And it's not for the faint of heart. There's a reason that 2 people are watching this video. And I thank God for you, because I was told to do this. And I was like, I don't think, and so it's one of you, I'm glad that it's helpful, because you are really getting a lot of support. And it's new, because your belief system in the past has been that you needed that affirmation, right? You needed that validation. And since your Lunar New Year last year, your daily life has shifted to embrace your divinity, being a dearly loved child of the great Mother, Father, God, who's never judged, condemned, or left alone. And so you've been practicing a lot of that and embracing the inner wisdom that you've gained from that. But there's this feeling that, okay, so now where am I going to get this validation from? And what's coming through is that your downloads from your 12th house of Aries with Uranus there, you're going to get these sudden flashes of genius based on just your immediate unction when you saw that church burning. What is that message? And so instead of connecting that to what other people are thinking about it, trusting the message that comes right to your heart. Or when they discovered the black hole, we know Great Mother is the black hole, the cosmic center. Specifically the nakshatra of Mula, just like this full moon is in the nakshatra of Chitra, the brilliant one, the shining light. Despite suffering and all of that, Mula is the deepest nakshatra that goes to the truth, and that is the cosmic womb. And we all come from that. And you are getting over the next 7 years something that's akin to downloads for you from the source of your new truth. There's a difference between thought forms and thought patterns that your soul has developed over lifetimes and the personal truth that your soul has earned through experience, is what I'm trying to say. And so you are going to live more from that space and allowing what you see in the outer world to inform what those truths are for you as signs and symbols. So I hope that makes sense, because that's what I got for you on that. Because what you want is you want to stand at this crossroads that you're at now of asserting that personal truth, asserting that truth of, okay, in my past lives, my soul may have had a tendency to live a daily life in a certain way. There's a reason that, certain doctors are just excellent. These pianists at 3 years old are just like, well, what are these designers that design these clothes? And it's like, this is out of the world. It's not the first lifetime they've done it. Okay. And so we do typically have a tendency to do the same type of thing. Some people are always teachers in some form or another, whether it's as a mother, whether it's as a mechanic, whether it's as a blacksmith back in the day, teaching people how to whatever. You have a tendency to have lived your life, particularly as it relates to MDT, in a way of acceptance because of this validation thing going on. Security is important to Taurus, right? So you're standing at this crossroad to saying, okay, Tammy, so yeah, okay, I can kind of see that, and I actually kind of feel that my daily life is changing, but I thought it was because of all this crazy stuff going on in the world. Well, the crazy stuff going on in the world it's just information informing you. You create your world. No matter how crazy the world looks, we still are the creators of it. It's just that it looks crazy because most people are unconscious of that. So much so, they're making a mess. Okay, so you're standing at this crossroads, right? Throat chakra. Throat chakra is ruled by what? Mercury. And Mercury is in your 11th house right now, conjunct Venus, your lunar sign ruler. So you are at a crossroads where you are able to communicate your new truths to others in very beautiful ways. And that's what you want to do. That's in your position of what you want. And what's supporting you to do that, to communicate your new truths, what you have learned and earned through experience, is energies to help you overcome the fear of doing that. We have the root chakra, the seedling symbol here, and the first quarter moon card, Kali. Now, Kali is the Hindu goddess of transcending fear transcendence, and that's what's assisting you, is transcending fear. Saturn is conjunct K2 and Jupiter in the South Node. This is 8th house energy for you. So you're being supported with the death and the rebirth of your new thought patterns, your new way of communicating, your new sense of security, which is not in others, but in what you know for yourself, which is your true divinity. The present state of your ego soul alignment with that divinity from MDT identity is the Sphinx card. So facing the challenge of that communication is where you are. You're at a point where you're ready to begin communicating. If you haven't already, many of you have already started to just let people know what's up. You either have the attitude of don't start nothing, won't be nothing. I'm good. I know 6th house is disputes, debts, and diseases, but I'm aware of what truly makes me healthy, happy, and whole. I'm focused on that more than I'm focused on anything else. That kind of communication. And some of you who are not quite at that place yet, the reason why your soul wants to do this work is because it's still working that out this full moon with the second chakra. Now, the second chakra is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter, again, in the South Node, okay? And so this death and rebirth, this regeneration, this full moon is really being supported. Now, looking at why your soul wants to do this work, if you were already communicating these things to people, it is to remind you or to confirm to those of you who may need the confirmation that you do what's best for you. You do what's best for you. That's what the prostitute card is. We all are prostitutes. We all give of ourselves to survive in this material world. The question is, and always has been, that's why it's the oldest profession on the planet. The only question is how we do it. And this is why your soul wants to do, and what is the work it wants to do? It wants to do the work of purification. It wants to purify its experience of health, happiness, and wholeness based on what it has learned and what it has earned through experience. And it has experienced a lot of new things that are not being facilitated by the way it's been living up to last year for some of you and up to this year for others as we move into the Taurus new moon over the next couple of months. Okay, the next new moon is Aries in VEDIC. This full moon in Libra is saying that either we sell ourselves out and devalue ourselves and demean ourselves in the exchange to survive, or we value ourselves, we esteem ourselves, and we share our gifts and talents and abilities for what they are worth in exchange for a life that we know that we are worthy of. That's the choice. And it's one that has to be based on the touch and feel, sensory experience of real life, trial and error, to earn and learn the inner wisdom to be and to do that. And this is in your shadow position. Taurus moon sign people, heart chakra rules your moon sign. And again, some of you have been working on this for a year. Others, it will be this Taurus new moon that you really begin to trust that inner wisdom. Now, why your soul wants you to be clear about how you are exchanging your energy in the world is so that you can face the challenges of communicating this new way without being overly concerned about the validation from others. And how it wants to communicate this is by letting people know, hey, I'm being reborn. In the past, it was very important for me to have the affirmation and your approval. However, at this particular time, what I need is XYZ. So that's what I'm going to do. That kind of basic language and communication is what we work on in the MDT support group. You are invited to attend. Everyone's invited. It's Sunday and Monday nights, 8 o'clock. Just sign up for it at greatmotherspeaks.info under booking. And we have audio that's sent afterwards so you can listen to it. It's just language that we need to walk ourselves out of that blame, shame, and guilt into our divinity. This is what the rebirth process is. It is allowing for that divine expression to come through as you. Balsamic moon energy is that download energy, and you have so much power in that download space in your 12th house right now with Mercury and Venus to do beautiful communication work this full moon. In the interim to the new moon, Saturn will be going retrograde on the 29th, as well as Pluto, the outer planet, on the 26th. So a lot of transformation in terms of that 8th house energy for you in the South Node in K2, where Sagittarius is. As a result of doing this purification work, though, this full moon, and coming to the full moon light of what is really important for you to assert in your life, the most likely outcome for you is Maya. You will pull the curtain, as Toto pulled the curtain on Oz to reveal he was just a man. You will pull the curtain on the need for validation in order to live your divinity, to own the fact that you are a dearly loved child of the great Mother, Father, God, who's never judged, condemned, or left alone. You'll pull the curtain on that and just simply realize by the new moon, hey, it is. That's who I am. This is the life that I'm living. This is my lifestyle. This is how I take care of myself. This is how I heal myself. This is how I heal others. And it's been a long process for you. This is the new moon card ruled by the Ajna, the third eye, which rules Cancer, and the moon rules Cancer. So we have a Cancer new moon coming up after the Taurus new moon. So that'll be coming up for us in August. So we have some time here for all of this to congeal, and isn't that amazing? It is in alignment with this transit that's happening from now until September. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, and liking. But above all and most of all, remember, Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
Great Mother speaks.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother Mary.